Hello, I promised we'd be back in just a second, and here we are with our second of 3 Voice of the Customer sessions here at AWS On Air. Joining me now is Xiaojian Huang from Sibros to talk a little bit about how Sibros and AWS are enabling a connected vehicle ecosystem with Sibros' deep connectivity platform. Xiaojian, I have lots of questions. I'm sure we'll be able to get to most or all of them, but first of all, thank you so much for taking the time out today.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thanks for your time as well.
Wonderful. Well, I figured I'd give you the floor to open things up, right? I have a little bit of a prompt here for the deep connectivity platform, and I'm interested to hear more. But broadly, what does Sibros work in, and what is your work entail there as VP of software?
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, Sibros is a automotive technology and SaaS company. We provide secure, scalable, and reliable connectivities between the vehicle and the cloud. So we saw the trend of a software-defined vehicle, and we believe this is the future for the whole automotive industry. I would imagine, like at some point in the future, all the vehicles, all the cars, regardless of the gas-powered EV or self-driving cars, all of them will be dependent upon the cloud connectivity. So right now, the software component in the vehicle has been overlooked for decades, and Sibros solution has perfectly filled the gap here. So at a very high level, Sibros provide 2 key products at this moment. So one is the OTA updater for firmware update over the air, and the other one is the OTA logger for collecting live vehicle data and processing the cloud. So our solution works on every vehicle architecture, and we are helping our customer to enable the connectivity across that fleet and build a connected vehicle ecosystem. So that's pretty much what Sibros is doing at a very high level. And for me, I manage the software team at Sibros, and then we are doing the cloud side development to support our customers. Yeah.
Wonderful, extremely exciting. Separate, like you said, separate from the energy or the engines that would be powering our cars tomorrow. I think this proliferation of data and the desire to have data-driven features in cars is certainly exploded in recent years. And so just so I have an understanding, again, as the non-expert here in the automotive space, we see both over-the-air updates, that's OTA, the ability to push software updates to systems that exist on these vehicles. And then on the other side, we also have, let's say, a two-way communication or a collection of data on vehicles to then process some sort of, through some sort of application that's on the cloud, correct?
Yep.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Now, I know there are certain car manufacturers, at least here in the United States, that have moved forward quite quickly with this. Maybe some of those have built their tech in-house, but it seems like Sibros is well positioned to be able to offer these services to a broad number of auto manufacturers. I think you mentioned that there's already some wide-reaching compatibility there. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Awesome. So powering the data in these systems that will be in our vehicles tomorrow. Great level setting. So let's dive a little bit deeper on that, right? I don't have a vehicle that does over-the-air updates yet, but I'm sure you spend all day working on this exact use case. So what are some common examples of how people like me and you, as drivers of vehicles, will be able to benefit from over-the-air updates? What features does this enable?
Yeah, that's a great question. So over-the-air update is an essential part of the software-defined vehicle. So it provides a lot of flexibility for the customers or OEMs to configure and tweak the vehicle remotely. So one concrete example is that for the vehicle recalls. So right now, it's a huge pain point for automakers to recall the vehicles and tweak the software or firmware. So where a lot of them could be easily done over the air. So having a robust OTA update solution could actually dramatically reduce the cost of recall for automakers and even make the life for car owner much easier. So in addition to that, OTA update also enable a lot of new use cases we haven't really thought about or wasn't possible in the past. So like predictive maintenance and remote diagnostic, even dynamically configure the vehicle based on the condition, like or weather of the current location. So that's for the OEMs. So for car makers, Sibros solution is also very relevant to our day-to-day life. So during COVID-19, since I don't drive that much, I choose to switch to a mileage-based car insurance. They require me to install a small dongle that connects to my ODB ports in the vehicle to track the usage. So as we know, there are very limited information that could be extracted from the ODB ports. With the Sibros deep logger solution, not only could we collect the data like a harsh braking, harsh acceleration, so that the good driver could actually get a further discount for the insurance premium. We also can provide a comprehensive solution to send the compressed data based on the events to minimize the overall cost of the data transmission. So I think which is a huge cost source for a lot of OEMs. So overall, those are the two products that Sibros is currently offering. But our goal is not just to offer these two products. Our solutions start with unlocking the potential of software-defined vehicle. And our goal is to help our customer to build an end-to-end connectivity ecosystem, which includes things like best practice, backend integration, mobile app. So hopefully that answers your question regarding the example or use case that you're asking about.
Yeah, no, more than answered the question. I have so many ideas running through my head. I'm a avid car fan, and for folks that may be a little bit less familiar, you mentioned the ODB port. This is a common data interface standard that when you go into either a car dealership or a mechanic and they want to diagnose your vehicle, they can plug a physical appliance into your car and essentially read that data directly from the vehicle. But again, that requires that physical device. People usually don't have those themselves. It's not wireless or preemptively pushing that data. And so that's the first really big thing that comes across to me. It's that this data is now accessible to people in semi-real time or real time. And then second, it really feels like Sibros is well positioned on this larger and broader shift to software in vehicles, which is when we buy a car and have in the past, we find that the software for most intents and purposes is kind of locked in to the quality at the day that we purchase it, right? Exactly. A car ages, technology moves on, software gets prettier and maybe slicker to use. But oftentimes you're locked into that software that's available from the day that you purchased it. And, even sending it into, you go in for routine maintenance, it doesn't often get upgraded like the physical components of your hardware. And so this isn't, to me, just about over-the-air updates. This is also about vehicles operating and following some more common software trends, more frequent updates, not purchasing software that exists as is until the end of the life cycle of that car. And so, some very exciting stuff here. So you mentioned examples in how this data can be surfaced either to the manufacturers or OEMs or to insurance companies, what have you. What does it look like to have some sort of centralized view into this data? Because again, I imagine when you go into the mechanic, they've got it on a physical appliance, but with the advent of Sibros' technology and a connected data platform, I'd imagine you have some sort of web application or mobile app that makes this a very easy experience.
Yep. Yeah. So I believe like a picture is worth 1,000 words, and then a demo is probably worth 10,000 words. So I'm going to give a small demo and quickly walk through our portal next.
Perfect. That sounds great.
Cool. So this is the overview of our landing page. So essentially, our customer can take a look at how many vehicles are running on the fleet, any error coming from the vehicle, and then also the bytes in and out on the vehicle. So they can also dig deeper into for example, last 7 days, last 14 days to get more slice and dice of the data. And in addition to that, they can also get insight into the rollouts, get insight into the deployments. I'm not going to dive into detail, but this gives you an overview of the whole fleet insight into the fleet. And the second thing I'm going to show is the inventory, the package page. So in this page, our customer can manage or upload, download the package on the fleet. So for example, if I click into the package view, they can see how many versions are deploying how many vehicles. So this is a very holistic view about the entire fleet. So they can get a very quick insight into the package package distribution. And the second thing I want to do is I want to start a rollout. But before I do that, I want to create a vehicle group. So the concept of vehicle group is a way to group the vehicle together based on some sort of attribute or metadata. So for example, I can create a vehicle group based on the make, year, color, geolocation of the vehicle. So right now, I'm not going to create on a demo, but I already create one for the demo purpose here for demo group. And next, I'm going to try to start a rollout for our fleets. So I already create a rollout here for demo, but in order to demonstrate it better, I want to walk through a little bit on how people will create new rollouts. So essentially, people can choose package they want to deploy and choose the version of package to deploy. And they can actually schedule a day in the future to deploy the package, choose the vehicle we create in the past. And also for some of our customers, they like to pick different strategy to roll out a software package. For example, they want to roll out to 10% of the vehicle first, and then to a 90%. So ensure the safe rollout of the entire process. They can also pick and choose some safe mechanism to stop error happening in the entire fleet by clicking the button here and there. And also, they can choose the delivery type, Wi-Fi, cellular. So we offer a variety of types for customer to pick to deliver the software package. So I'm not going to create the entire rollout for now, but I'm going to use our existing rollout to show the case here. So for example, for demo purpose, I can approve myself for the rollout, but in the production, someone else needs to approve my rollouts. But I can start the rollout quickly, and you can see on this page, we have start rollout to 10 vehicles on the fleet. And then some of them will be having different status. Some in progress, some is pending, some is downloading. And our customer can even click into each one and then see the detailed breakdown, what stage of the update in real time coming from the vehicle. And as you can see, they are waiting for the update staging. They may wait for the pending for precondition very soon, and then start upgrading process. So since this will take a while, so I'm not going to wait until the whole process finish. But as you can see, we can do the parallel upgrade of the ECUs on the vehicle, and then in the meantime, the whole upgrade process adopt a security framework called Optane to ensure the end-to-end security of the vehicle upgrade. Because vehicle upgrade security is definitely one of the most important topic of the entire OTA solution. And a lot of our customers care a lot about the OTA upgrade. And in the process, you can also see the data, the log coming from the vehicle in real time. And everything here is configurable. So I will leave this upgrade to go for a while, but I'm going to jump to a next product. I'm going to show here is the deep logger solution. So essentially, what I'm showing here is the overview or the data we collect from the vehicle in the real time. As you can see, the data is changing right now, and there are some data coming from the vehicle as well. But as you can see, there are some data is missing at this moment. Like the BMS related data are all missing at this moment. The beauty of our solution is that we can actually change configure the data transmission without actually deploying a firmware upgrade. So for example, I'm going to configure the data transmission by adding a couple messages, for example, like a BMS status, sales status, and click update. So in a very short period of time, I'm going to see some data coming from this vehicle. So as you can see, we start showing the state of charge. We start showing the charge graph. So everything here is customizable. So our customer can actually easily move things around, slice and dice, resize, and then configure the signal of each graph on the entire portal. So that's pretty much about very quick walkthrough of the entire the product in a 10,000 feet level. So hopefully this will give a bit insight into what we are doing right now.
Oh, 100%. This is, I love me a good demo, and that certainly was one. And a testament to how easy it was to follow, a super slick interface here. I feel well equipped to have all of this data at my fingertips for what I would want. Now, I'm gonna ask us to pull the covers back a little bit here. It's clear how a user uses Sibros and all of that. But when I'm thinking about the moving parts here, no pun intended, we have end devices or like edge devices here that are supplying data and receiving data in the form of these vehicles. We have centralized dashboards. You may have different deployments for multiple regions, hypothetically, right? What is some of the tech, and if so, any call outs to AWS services that make all of this possible, or that your team allows your team to focus on building this really slick experience for your customers?
Yeah, so our primary stack on AWS is made up of like Golang, React.js, and then React Native. So this is the language we're using to develop our whole system. We choose those based on a trade-off among developer velocity, high concurrency workload, and cross-platform support. So we heavily leverage AWS IoT Core for the vehicle and cloud communication. So after we get a message from the vehicle, we store in AWS S3 for the backup purpose and put them in Kinesis for the streaming processing. So Lambda and our backend service are deployed in EKS. So they will process those messages in the real time and store them in the various storage backend like RDS, DynamoDB, and those data could be further processed using machine learning module. We leverage from AWS as well. So that's a lot of component actually we're trying to use from AWS right now. Finally, we also work closely with solution architect from AWS. I know this is not a typical specific component from AWS, but I think this is a very helpful session. So solution architect from AWS, they are really helpful and provide great insight into the AWS platform. And then also, for example, how to estimate and leverage AWS efficiently. They have great insight into how things work there. We engage them in a various technical and non-technical topic in order to deliver a very cost-efficient and scalable solution to our customers. So that's pretty much how we leverage AWS on a very high level. And to your question, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's always great to see such a wide breadth of features being used, and I imagine that went into your choice of a cloud platform, right? From playing back what I heard here, EKS for service deployment, IoT Core, S3 for storing your data, technical expertise from solutions architects. All of these things sort of come together on one platform in AWS. And something that I will never stop talking about is developer velocity. One of the most important things when it comes to speed of shipping features is how equipped your developers are at using a particular set of technology, right? Something could be more performant in production, but if it delays getting that feature out, that could be a big problem. Has AWS really offered you this breadth that enables you to just focus on doing what you want to do and delivering those features?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. So there's a lot of pain point I can imagine from startup perspective when facing this kind of big challenge, especially talking about handling millions of vehicles at the same time. So I came from the infrastructure background of Uber and Facebook, where the entire infrastructure was pretty much built on-prem. So I know how difficult or how hard it is to start everything from scratch and make it a scalable and reliable solution. So I couldn't imagine how much time it would take for Sibros to build everything from scratch and scale to millions of vehicles. So one concrete example, as I mentioned in the previous discussion, is the IoT Core. To build MQTT gateway itself is already a pretty huge infrastructure task. It will probably take like a long time for Sibros to even maintain and scale to millions of vehicles all at the same time. So same thing for pretty much all the components you mentioned, like EKS, DynamoDB, S3. Those things will take a long time for Sibros to build. So as a startup, we definitely don't have resource and time to build everything from ground up, let alone maintaining them operationally, which is going to be a large pain point if we choose that path. So that's a challenge where Sibros is facing. I would imagine those are the same challenges that most startups will be facing as well. And AWS is a great platform that offer a lot of products for us to actually build on top of. Yeah.
Wonderful. A great story, a great product. Again, in just a few minutes, you were able to walk me through it, and it was super slick. Again, we largely got to see the UI and the UX, but with all of the underpinnings that you saw there in the logs with the data and all of the I'd say some of the hairiest bits are managing those MQTT gateways exactly. and all of the hard parts of doing your business, actually communicating with the end devices, just sort of being abstracted away. And that's the work your team gets to make easier for your customers. So
yep.
Xiaojian, thank you so much for joining me. A few call outs here at the tail end of the session. I believe Sibros is, you can find them at the AWS APN Partner Solutions directory. So that's available there as well. You have a site as well. That's Sibros.tech, I believe.
Yep. Sibros.tech.
Wonderful. And for anyone else who might be in the automotive space looking to implement solutions built on AWS or leverage some of these best practices, you can find more information over at aws.amazon.com/automotive. Well, Xiaojian, we are at time here. Unfortunately, I would love to dive even deeper into the service. This, again, can't speak enough to how slick the web app looked there. But again, Xiaojian Huang, VP of Software over at Sibros Automotive, closing out the automotive voice of the customer session here. When we return, we will be back with our third of the day. Thank you again. Stick around, and we will be right back.
Yeah, thank you.